Good evening. Welcome to Voices of the Rainbow. Tonight we're...
Hold it!
What?
Before you start the show, I have an announcement I'd like to make, something I'd like to share with the audience. And I'm sorry for interrupting you, Robert.
Oh, anytime. No.
Last week there was an awards ceremony held here at DCTV, and our program, Voices of the Rainbow, had 2 entries in it, and we took 2nd and 3rd place for Dan Cardokas, our producer.
All right.
He wasn't able to be there to accept the certificates, and so I wanted to present them to him tonight.
Oh,
he missed out on the fun. And
great idea.
We had to
yeah, Dan, come on up.
It's the 2nd and 3rd place in current events, the category of current events. Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Next year's going to be first.
Definitely.
Congratulations to everybody who's helped with and been involved with Voices of the Rainbow.
And all of our guests that's been on.
All right. Well, thank you. Gosh, congratulations, you guys. All right. Well, as we were about to say then, tonight we're investigating paranormal investigations, basically. The program is ghost, maybe hunting or busting, or, as Karen says, investigations. I have with me my guest Karen Escamilla and Sharon Hartman. And let's begin with Karen. Karen owns a production company called Paranormal Productions, and maybe you can just tell us a little bit about ghost investigating.
Well, thanks, Robert. How I got started doing this was my husband Jose and I ended up documenting UFOs for a 1.5 years down in Roswell. And one of the researchers said, check your still pictures for paranormal activity.
All right.
And I did, and she helped me decipher what was developing error versus paranormal.
Right.
And once I started being aware of that, I noticed that I started to pick up a lot more activity also. And I don't know if it had to do with the UFOs per se or what, but it started an interest.
So you started investigating and you started picking up on film or...
Video, 35mm film. I've even gone back into my family albums, and on all kinds of film I've picked up paranormal activity.
Right.
All cameras, tape recorders, things like that.
And my understanding is that you verified some of this information. I believe, Sharon, besides owning the Rising Phoenix right now, also you've had some experience in film production also.
Yes, I processed and print for 14 years.
For 14 years, and Sharon was one of the people who's looked at some of your pictures and noted that there's something besides a defect, for instance, or...
Sharon's great. Sharon, not only does she have a psychic ability, which helps on the paranormal side, because sometimes that's the only way you can get answers. But she also knows photography. And I'll bring my pictures to Sharon, and Sharon will help me decipher what is real as far as paranormal or real developing error. And it's nice. It's nice to have somebody to help.
Well, you've brought a bunch of cameras and things. Can you tell us, like, what it takes or what one does? I mean, what's...
Well, I started out by using whatever cameras I had and video, of course, because we were doing the UFOs. And one of the things I discovered was on video, it's the total opposite. For UFOs, you do it at a high shutter speed. For ghost hauntings, you do it at low lux or a low shutter speed. And I made the mistake. For quite a while, I just couldn't get the hang of it. And what would happen is it would be very dark, and I couldn't see if there was anything going on my video. You could just hear. So I've learned to correct myself on that. And I started out, this was the first camera that I started using, and
just a normal 35mm?
Point and shoot. I can't do much more.
Yeah.
One thing you want to do is make sure the strap is where it's supposed to be, like around your neck or around your wrist.
Karen also kind of, I think, well, you believe that everybody could see ghosts or take pictures, basically.
I think so. People disagree with me, and that's fine, but I just want everybody to at least try, if they're interested to try.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, you'll notice that I have a lot of tape on my camera. It's because this camera leaked light, and I was getting paranormal activity on my film.
Real paranormal.
It was an orange mist going across, and so I taped it up real good, and I don't get that problem. But I do carry about 5 cameras now. I have the 3D camera, which will take a series of pictures at one time. I like to bring a Polaroid, of course, and for a long time I didn't catch any paranormal on the Polaroid Instamatic until I went to the Stanley Hotel. And I'll show you that in a little bit.
Yeah, you've done a number of things, not to interrupt, but continue with what you're saying, but you've gone to the Stanley Hotel for a radio station, I guess on Halloween, to detect some haunting activities.
Right, they brought me up there at the KYGO radio station, brought me up to the Stanley Hotel, and we stayed the night there, and I documented things, and I, for the first time, got something on Polaroid, and it was great because I had lots of witnesses. They know I didn't fake it. That kind of a thing. But anyways, I'll go on with the equipment. And this is new stuff I just got, which I don't know if it's necessary or not, but maybe for the scientific documentation, it probably would help. This is an electromagnetic field tester. And this tests like the electricity coming out of, say, a microwave or a TV screen. And what you do is you turn it on and it'll read digitally how much electricity is being picked up, and supposedly paranormal will affect this and make it go kind of up and down and not stay real controlled. And so that's one way. It's hard getting used to bringing so much equipment. Okay, and then I do have the temperature gauge, and a lot of times there's cold spots. So this tells me within 10 seconds, it's not as quick as I'd like, if there's a cold spot, and I can document it on video. I always bring a video camera because a lot of times I can't decipher whether it's paranormal or not because something might be hanging from the ceiling. This is a sound level meter, and a lot of times you can pick up voices. If everybody's real quiet, you can pick up voices that are paranormal that range above human hearing or below human hearing.
Is that right? So sometimes you hear different sounds on the
Well, you go home and you listen to your videotape, and all of a sudden there's a voice on there, but you didn't hear it there. But maybe this, I have not yet done anything with this, but there's supposedly, you're supposed to pick up on the paranormal voices. We'll see. And so there's basic equipment, but mostly a positive mind and a camera.
Right. And how long again have you said you've been working on this?
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I just have noticed that when I was younger.
And you've been, different situations come up in which, what makes you decide to choose a haunting one over the next?
It does get tough because some people almost cry out because they need help, and some places are more interesting than others. And being a mother and working also, it's hard to decipher which I should go on.
Well, we're going to cut for a break pretty soon, but when we come back, I'll ask both you, Sharon, and Karen, what you think this is all about. I mean, what are these things that you're seeing?
Thanks,
so,
Robert.
So we'll be coming right back. Thank you.
You're looking at one of the sneaky ways radon gets into your lungs. Radon attaches itself to these common dust particles that your family breathes in by the millions. Once inside you, radon can embed itself into your lungs, starting the process of lung cancer. Radon is the #2 cause of lung cancer in this country. Protect your family. Find out how to get your home tested and made safer. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON.
Welcome back to Voices of the Rainbow. We're here with Karen Escamilla and Sharon Hartman, and we're discussing paranormal investigation. And I'd like to ask Sharon, what do you make of some of the things we've been talking about a little bit, of Karen's investigations, etc.?
Karen had mentioned about anyone can do this, and one of the ways to start to do it is to start taking pictures periodically, once every couple of months, of the mirrors in your house. Because usually if you're not used to or accustomed to spiritual activity or psychic phenomena, it will show up first in the mirrors. And if you're hearing voices, everyone has different talents. Everyone sees, feels, touches differently. So if you can hear a voice or see something, and no one's listening to you because they're not seeing it or hearing it. If it's a hearing, put a tape deck with a cassette in like a heater vent or somewhere, and then while you're gone, and then leave the house, and then when you come back, check it, because paranormal activity happens all the time, not just when you're around so you can hear it.
Right.
So then you can play it again, and it will stay on the tape. Sometimes on cassette tapes, though, after about a month, it has a tendency to fade, especially if it's a local spirit that's inhabited the house for a long time. It takes a lot of their energy to get our attention, so they have to expend that energy as well. But for some reason, cassette tapes have a tendency to fade, whereas videotapes and the voice on videotape does not fade like cassette tapes.
Interesting.
So
I think you reached on another good point that maybe we could explore a little bit. You were saying that everybody has some sort of ability. It seems interesting that, I mean, no matter what your religious background sometimes, no matter what your belief system is, people have strange happenings or in their house that they can't explain. Do you find that to be true?
Oh, yes. Everyone has different, all belief systems have incorporated within the belief system that we're given gifts. Some are given the gifts of sight, prophecy, feeling, and some are empathic. So for me, first I'll feel a spirit. Like I'll feel a brush of cold air and smell a jasmine. Some people smell sulfur, brimstone. Part of that is how we look at spirits. If we believe they're evil, automatically we start smelling evil connotations. Unless we do not necessarily think they're evil, and then we start smelling the evil, the sulfur and everything. Run like the wind, far away. You know, but on the norm, what you feel, automatically we're going to be a little upset. But on the norm, what you feel, if you feel comfortable, stay with it, start to talk to it, begin to visit with it. They're there for a reason, whether it be that they cannot pass on because of a violent death or one reason or another, even to help us along like guardian angels. We can communicate with it. We just have to find the key to communicate.
Interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, with Karen with the pictures.
Yeah.
That is a form of communication.
There's something tangible that you can show people. With the video and the pictures, it's at least you don't feel so crazy.
So you're bringing up the pictures first. You were saying that you've gone to ghost huntings or investigations in all kinds of different places. I mean,
things just fall into my lap. Matter of fact, when we were doing the show for the Sci-Fi Channel for our UFOs, they put us up in a haunted hotel. And I mean, it was all over their brochures and stuff, and I thought, oh, this is too cool. So I made everybody run all up and down the hotel, of course. But things just happen to fall into my lap very easily, and I'm very grateful for that.
And they're hotels and what, houses? Or
houses, places. I think they're
museums?
just everywhere. I think maybe it's a good thing we can't see as clearly as we can because we just see them all over the place. It just, there seems like there's an awful lot of activity.
The government is also starting to document houses and hotels that are actually haunted, and they're documenting them now. I had watched that on some...
I saw it on the internet, actually. They said you can call your local Chamber of Commerce, and they should have a list of haunted areas.
Right. There's only like really maybe 10 major ones on the list that you can actually travel to and investigate. A lot of the others are private homes that, if it were my private home, I'd be going, you went to what? You know?
And that's the number one rule, I think, is you always ask permission.
Or be invited in.
Or be invited, that's right. And also, when you're invited in, you ask permission to take pictures.
Oh, yeah.
You don't ever overstep your boundaries.
Oh, not to interrupt, but you had picked up on the pictures. Did you want to share with us some of the pictures that you've taken?
Well, let's see. There's a radio station, a local radio station. Actually, it's the same KYGO. That's how I became affiliated with them, as their station is haunted. And there is an orb right here. This might be kind of difficult. anyways, I was running a video camera in their studio at the same time that I wandered around to take a picture. At the same time at 9 o'clock in the studio, they went off the air. Just everything went off the air, and they're yelling, ghost, ghost, you know, and it's real funny. But anyways, at the same time, I got the orb, so I wonder if that is connected. So that was interesting. So that started a relationship with that radio station. So now I've been in a few times to be interviewed and been up to the Stanley Hotel, which I will show you the great Polaroid, if possible here.
Do these people, when you go, do they want someone to exorcise the ghost, or they?
That's what I was gonna tell you, that you'd think that a lot of people would like their houses cleansed. Nobody wants their houses cleansed. Can you believe it? They don't mind this stuff going on.
Well, that's the proverbial, if it was going to get me, it would have got me by now.
Maybe
kind of
that's
thing.
it.
Yeah.
You know, down in Roswell, we had a lot of poltergeist activity. Now, when that happened, I didn't know anything about metaphysics, and I'm like, what do you do? Things are flying off of shelves, sounds knocking around me, we're getting scratched and bitten and things like that. And our computers would go on and off and fix themselves. It was just, very, I want to say frightening, because I'm a weenie.
I think you mentioned once, though, too, that you went on a ghost investigation and all the batteries had drained. Is that a typical occurrence?
Yeah, that's a typical
you said
thing.
You got out of there at that time.
Right.
I mean, if you can't
One of
film.
my most favorite places is the Richard Hart Estate in Wheat Ridge, which you can rent for balls and banquets. I think it's $300. But anyways, there's a great amount of activity there, and we were down in the basement. We had 3 video cameras, many still cameras going, audio cassettes going, and everything started going on and off and on and off, and cameras clicking on their own and stuff, and you saw 3 women tear up those stairs very fast. But I'll show this picture of the Stanley real quick before I forget. And this is Polaroid, and this is coming out of a light that's on the wall. I know I'm shaking, sorry. And this is what sometimes is called a spaghetti effect, when it's zipping all over the place. But I was very excited to get this, and I rarely bring my Polaroid out. I usually bring the copy.
You had mentioned, though, something about, I mean, are ghosts violent in nature in general, or are most of the occurrences not violent?
Not violent.
Right.
And a matter of fact, I have a hard time deciphering, now that I'm learning more, what is paranormal activity versus psychic attacks and things like that. I mean, I'm trying to learn as much as I can. If it's human, psychic type attacks or something. I'm so open-minded now. I listen and try to sort through all this stuff.
Right. Well, because we had originally titled it modern-day ghost hunters, but I think you corrected us and said, well, it's paranormal activity.
Investigations, yeah.
Maybe you're trying not to define it for somebody, or you know.
Everything seems to connect: UFOs, ghosts, spirits. It just overlays. How can you just say ghost hunting or something? Because we're not really hunting down these ghosts. They're just all around us, and they just happen to be there when we need to get them on film, I guess. I wish they'd cooperate a little bit more, though.
Part of that is they live by rules. They have a set, their energy levels, in order for them to materialize or us to be able to see them. That takes a lot of their energy, ectoplasm or whatever. They have to get it all together in order to be able to do it. Even the people who are honed to searching them out, psychics and people who do it to help them move on. Spirits on the norm, spirits, ghosts, are here because they have not as yet moved on. It could be violent death. It could be a loved one kept them here by not allowing them to, you know, not letting go. Sometimes we have a tendency to do that. One of the most usual ways to see any type of ghost is when someone passes on. A lot of people are awoken in the middle of the night and see like the grandfather at the foot of the bed telling them that they love them, and then in the morning when they wake up, or if they wake up then and call, the grandfather's passed on at that exact moment, or the grandmother, or a loved one, or a friend. Sometimes we have a tendency to keep them earthbound because we cannot let go. So that is actually the first way to, that's how everyone normally sees them for their first time.
Well, we're running out of time right now for this program, but when we get back for next week's program, we'll maybe discuss a little bit more about the different ways of communicating or how we get this information to make these ideas. I thank you very much for coming today. Thank you very much, Karen Escamilla.
Thanks,
Sharon
Sharon.
Hartman. Thank you for watching Voices of the Rainbow.
In here, doesn't say anything, goes up the stairs. So one of the guys sitting there says, "Where did that guy go?" Because he saw him go up the stairs. He looks and he says, "There's nobody there. Those stairs go nowhere."
Yeah, I gotta try to get the other room in there. Maybe.
Take a shot of the long room.
Yeah.
Which room? Oh, the long room back.
Yeah, you should.
All the way to the back.
Do a quick one of that, and then the stairs. These stairs are too cool. That is really cool. That is great. Thank you.
Sure, watch your head.
All right. All right.
You're right.
Did it turn back on?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you turn it on and off, this red button?
Whoever keeps going off, the cameras, everything starts going on and off. Okay, the battery's dead on this one.
Nothing abnormal. Except in that one, there's like yellow stuff. But I think.
Fire! Look, ghost activity! Ghost activity! The commercial was fire. There was ghost activity right there. Activity. Was it really? Yeah, it was running, but there was nothing coming out. Ghost activity! There should be a